Good evening. This is Adam Raoof, otherwise known as Chesspatzer India, part of the Chesspatzer community. Thanks very much to Chesspatzer UK for organising these matches. So I think I'm live, and I think I'm about to play a match against Chesspatzer Wiltshire, and I believe the format is 15 minutes each. And my handicap, because I've got a higher rating, is that I have to win the game in 36 moves or less. So I don't know how practical that is. I'm sure that my opponent is pretty good. Let's see what happens in the first game. Random colours. So I'm about 1800 and he's about 1600. And bearing in mind the fact that I have to win fairly quickly, 36 moves isn't that quick. I'm going to play something a bit more aggressive. Normally I play d4, but today I'm going to play e4 and see how we go. Now, hopefully you can hear this. Just send me a message in the chat as long as you can hear it. I'll turn off the feedback from the board. I'm never totally confident that anyone can hear. So if you're in the chat, send me a message and make my life easier. So today we had the concluding rounds, the last two rounds, rounds 4 and 5 of Hampstead Weekend Tournament, and later on I shall be giving you a list of who won what. But just to say that was an amazing tournament. We had a record entry and it was incredibly hard fought. And if you want to see the results, you can always find them on chessresults.com, or there's usually a link on chessengland.com. Okay, so my opponent has played the Scandinavian, and I'm not really interested in taking that. Taking it wouldn't be such a bad move, but he's not going to play queen takes d5. He's probably going to play knight f6, and then we transpose into a kind of Scandinavian. I'm going to play something a little sharper, possibly with knight c3. And let's see what he does. He might transpose into a Caro-Kann with c6, or he could just take on e4, or he could do what he's just done, which is push on. And now I have to find something to do with my knight. Knight d5 is not a good idea. Knight b1 is defeating the purpose. So knight e2 is probably, I use the word forced. Okay, so in this position, I'm going to try and focus my attention on f7, which is traditional. When you play e4, you normally spend a lot of time concentrating on the white squares, especially this diagonal leading to this weak pawn, defended only by the king in the opening. So to do that, I need to put my bishop on c4, which means I need to move this knight, and g3 is a good place to put it, concentrating on this square. Maybe later in the game I'll stick my knight there, depending on if he castles. I might follow his king with my pieces and just try and put some pressure on him. Let's see what he plays. His rating is not particularly reliable. He could be stronger than that, could possibly be weaker than that. We shall find out. Mine's certainly not very reliable. It's a bit random. So, is anyone out there come to Hampstead today? If you did, you'll know that it was very warm, not just outside, but inside the playing area as well. Mainly because we had so many people playing chess. We had almost 100 people playing. We had a few people not turn up. We had a few people turn up we weren't expecting. And we were quite crowded. It took a bit of creativity to fit everybody in. Okay, so my opponent has played knight c6, defending e5. So I want to put my bishop on c4. But I am slightly worried he might play knight a5. So bishop c4 looks good. Maybe knight a5 chasing the bishop. So I'm going to play knight f3 first, putting some pressure on e5. And then his knight is locked down to the defense of that pawn. It's just a question of move order. If you were at Hampstead this weekend, you'll know that I owe you a virtual prize giving. What we do at the end of tournaments at the moment, and it's proving quite popular, is we stream and read out the prizes and show you where to find it on chessresults.com and explain what the tie breaks are. Tie breaks for rating prizes, that is. There's no tie breaks for the main prizes, we just split them. Explain how you can get paid, little things like that. Sometimes we talk through some of the best games, things like that. And I owe you a virtual prize giving. Okay, so bishop d6. That's good. Basically defending e5. Now in these lines, I've played these lines with the colours reversed, h5, h4. Harassing this knight is usually quite good. But he hasn't done that. Let's see if he does that. I'm going to play bishop c4, following my plan. Put the bishop on a useful diagonal. And I wonder if he's got maybe knight a5 looks a bit irritating. H5 is a plan. Let's see what he does. Because the important thing to do in positions like this, especially if you've never seen them before, but just generally, is try and disrupt your opponent's plan. Don't neglect your development. Try and put your king safe. But have a look at what your opponent's doing and try and cut right across what they're planning. I don't know what this line is actually called with white, but I've played it with colours reversed. It's like a tango, black knight's tango, something like that. So if you're watching this live, put a message in the chat box just above my head and let me know that you can hear me. It's always reassuring to know that. Now, my first criticism is that f6 generally in these sort of positions weakens this wonderful diagonal for my bishop. It's quite a dangerous place to put that pawn. It's better off on f7. You just play knight f6 or knight e7 and just castle. Possibly knight f6 is better. This means that as long as my bishop stays on that diagonal, he's going to find it quite difficult to castle kingside, mainly because he can't castle through check. And I've even got some nasty tricks with knight h4 and queen h5 check. Some nasty tricks. But I have to watch out. He could still snaffle my bishop. So I'm going to play a3. The idea being that I can drop my bishop back to a2 if I need to. The times aren't so important in these. I haven't put the clock times on the screen because I've got 10.5 and he's got about 11 minutes. Plenty of time to play a sensible game so far. And we'll see whether or not I can take advantage of the fact that he's played f6. Where's he going to put his king, most importantly? So if you're somebody who plays blitz chess on Lee Chess, let me know, because Queen e7 is interesting. If you play blitz chess on Lee Chess, there's a lot of tournament activity for the Chesspatzer community organised by Chesspatzer UK. If you look up Chesspatzer UK Twitch, he has an account. Okay, you can take part in all those. I'm going to play something like, he's going to play bishop e6. I'm going to play maybe knight h4 with the idea of playing a knight to f5. Let's see. Can't really play bishop e6 because I'm just going to plonk a knight on f5. So I think he has to play g6. I'm not totally sure that's a bad move, but it's quite committal. Let's see what happens. And then I have to watch out for black playing f5 in some lines. We'll see. Hello, Volatility21. I'm glad you're watching. Glad to know there's people out there. If you're watching live, can you see the chat on the screen? That's the other thing. If you can, everything is working beautifully, apart from my position. So g6. Okay. He could be playing f5 in these positions. I have to watch out for this knight. He could be playing g5. So let's be very careful. And let's play, well, I'm kind of committed to it. Let's play. Yeah, I'm kind of stuck with f5. If he plays f5, I'm going to have to maybe take it, sacrifice one of these knights, and then play queen h5 check. And then his king is forced to move. But let's do it. But it's not, maybe it's not worth a piece. But I'm kind of committed to it now. Let's see what my opponent thinks of that. We've got 3 games. I've got to win in 36 moves or less, so I've got to play aggressively. And I don't want to go completely bonkers, but one has to go a little bit bonkers to tempt my opponent to play something committal. I can't just maneuver for 30 moves. I have to get in there with my pieces. And maybe sacrifice something. So if you're playing blitz on light chess, you have to be quite careful not to get into the kind of blitz mentality, which is make moves first and think afterwards. Okay, so my opponent has played bishop d7. He's going to go castling queenside. And I really do have to watch out for f5 then, because I'm not going to be able to catch his king in the centre. So I might just have to bite the bullet and admit that knight h4 was a bit premature. Okay, so I'm going to play knight f3, bring it back to f3, just admit that it was wrong and give him another move. What I want him to do is castle so I can play b4 and maybe attack his king. Although at the moment I'm not sure how I can bring other pieces to bear. But bishop d7 and castles looks like a good move, and I should play b4. I should get on with it and attack him. So let's just see what the volume's like. If you can hear me, you can leave me a comment in the chat. If you think my position's rubbish, you can leave a comment in the chat. And so if you can hear me, this is excellent. If you can hear me, this is Jacques Tovillier, who is Chess Patzer UK, had this idea for a World Cup of Chess Patzers. And within his fantasy Chess Patzer community, we are playing a World Cup format competition. This is my first game in this competition, and the time control is 15 minutes each, and there is a handicap which we kind of came up with, which is about usually handicaps are based on time, but this one is based on moves, number of moves, based on the difference between the players. Ratings. We are basically imposing a limit on the games. So, for instance, if there's 400 points difference between the players, the player who's stronger has to win the game in less than a certain number of moves. In this game, it's 36 moves, something like that, which is reasonable. But it goes down, and I'm not totally aware what the other parameters are. But all I know is that's quite a hard thing to do. If your opponent's determined, even in a completely lost position, they can normally hang on where they would have resigned in a normal game. Okay, so my only advantage in this position is the fact that black's knight on g8 is undeveloped. My king is in the center, which isn't normally a good thing, but you can't really get to it yet. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I can bring my queen possibly to the queen side to b1 and push my pawn and get to his king. But I'm slightly worried that he might exchange off this bishop by playing bishop e6, which would be a good idea. I wasted the move with knight h4 and I had to bring it back to f3. I went knight h4 and then I brought it back to f3. Not recommended. So we'll see what happens. So knight d8. My opponent's played knight d8, possibly rerouting his knight to one of these squares. And now I haven't got anything to kick, but I don't mind that. I'm going to try and bring my queen to this square, or possibly even this square, depending on where he puts this bishop. He's captured it and I have to take it, but that's fair enough. I'm still going to pursue my plan. Queen b3. And if he plays bishop e6 and takes on c4, I'm not worried about that so much, because I might take back with a pawn. Now I can put my king on the queen side if I have to, but I'm not planning to. I'm going to leave it there. And I'm going to try, yeah, he's going to take on c4, and maybe I'll take with the pawn and then push it and trap that bishop. I'm going to try and attack him on the queen side. I can't force him to take on c4. So World Cup format. What am I going to do here to provoke bishop takes? Probably going to do it anyway, and then I take back with the pawn and I play c5. Take back with the pawn and play c5. What can I do in the meantime to improve the position of my pieces? I suppose I should just castle. Can he get to my king? If I put my king on g8, I don't think actually he can do much to get to my king. And that rook is now developed. I'm going to stick it on d1 to take advantage of the open file. If he takes on c4, I'm going to have this file. Meanwhile, if you can hear me, tell me if you agree. Rook on h8, knight on g8, he's basically those pieces down, and he's allowed me to complete my development. So I should be very happy. I am quite happy considering I wasted some time in the opening. So if you're looking at the this screen, you can see the chesspatzerWILTS India logo. This is because I am half Indian. My dad was Indian, and Jack basically persuaded me to adopt this identity on his chesspatzerWILTS community, and I'm very pleased to do so. And this is the logo, and I think they're really cool logos. I love my knights, so I do like what he's given me. So h5 is the good move. He wants to play h4, h3 and attack my king. Meanwhile, I need somewhere to drop my knight back to, so maybe f1 to e3 to d5. So I'm going to put my rook on d1. I'm going to stick my knight on f1 and maybe e3, and then maybe d5. And I hope, keep my fingers crossed, that he doesn't have a huge attack on my king. He does have bishop g4 here, by the way, but I'm not totally worried about that. I can defend it. I can defend it. He goes bishop g4 here, giving up the idea of exchanging off, and I go knight d2. I have to go knight d2, and with any luck, he doesn't have anything painful. If you could just add one more thing to the attack on that knight on f3, it would be dead. So this is slightly risky. Okay, now he's coming in here. Good move. So now I have to think quite hard about my next move. I don't want to lose that knight on f3. I do not want to lose the knight on f3. I don't mind him coming in on d4 because I'm going to nick it with my bishop. But I feel that strategically this is pretty good for him. So what am I going to do? I don't really want to have to take his knight with my bishop. That would be a bit pathetic. So knight g5 is a real threat. Yeah, I know. Rookie one. I shouldn't really look at the chat, but you know, I've got to try and bring my pieces back to defend, and it would be nice to bring my bishop back. It's a bit too late for that. So What other ways do I have? Got to rid myself of this pin, without a doubt. So where is a good square for that rook? I think c1 is a good square for that rook. I could go back to f1, could go back to e1. Definitely one of those squares. I think I'm going to go to c1 based on the fact that I'm theoretically occupying an open file. We'll see. Knight g5 as planned, and I could take it and chase his bishop away, which is what I'm going to do. It's not bad, and it's not perfect. And I have to watch out for some really nasty tricks. I was going to play f3, but actually I'm not sure. Bishop c5 check might be good. Maybe quite good. Maybe quite good. Let's see. I'm gonna do it. f3, and he could play bishop c5 check. I've got to be careful of that diagonal. But if he does that, I'm not going to allow him to sacrifice his bishop. I don't think I can afford to do that. Okay. So now we're getting down to the nub of it. I've got 2 minutes left, and I've got to try and win this game in under 36 moves. It's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen. Not in this position. Let's see what I can do. I've got to reroute my knight to the queen side. I haven't really got going, have I? I've got 10 more moves left. I don't think it's going to happen. The magic just isn't going to happen. That's pinned, by the way, so I'm hoping he can't take that. We'll see. In the normal run of things, that would be quite nice. But actually, in this position, I've got 10 more moves to win the game, and it's going to be quite hard. Let's see if I can survive 10 moves. I am the favourite. I've got to do it in 36 moves, and I'd be quite grateful to survive 36 moves. But I've actually got to win. I've got to mate him in 36 moves. 36 moves is looking quite optimistic. And then I have to win the other 2 games to win this match. 3 games. Going to have to revisit my strategy. But I could win on time. I mean, my opponent's down to less than 2 minutes. I've got 1.5 minutes. But really, I'm not worried about my time. I'm more worried about the number of moves. Bishop takes g3 looks good. I'm going to play takes, and I'm just going to keep my fingers crossed, and hopefully he doesn't have any mates. That is a good move. Threatening to come in on g3. Okay. Let's see what we can do. He's down to 1 minute 30. And just so you know, Fate, I don't like being a loser either. So I'm struggling with the concept here. 36 moves or less. Apart from the fact I'm struggling with the position. My opponent's played very well. So I can't argue with that. So I can't take it with the queen because he goes queen takes, g3 check. I've got to play rook takes. And I've got to get in some moves. I've got 56 seconds left. to win this game. To win this game, I'm going to have to sneak a queen takes g8, possibly. I'm looking. Let's see what we can do. 32 moves. Got to sneak in. I've got to sneak in a win here somewhere. Back rank does look very vulnerable for black now. But I've only got 4 more moves. You know, 4 more moves. And that's it. 4 more moves. Let's see what I can do. 4 more moves. It's not going to happen, is it? I'm going to die. I missed queen takes d4 check. Okay. I missed it. I'm going to get clobbered time-wise and position-wise. I think it's a good time to resign, I think. Yeah, I think I'm resigning that. Good game. So, in a moment, I'm going to have to play a return match. And I'm going to have to do it in under 36 moves. What am I going to do? Ideas in the chat. He's my opponent is saying, I can't believe I won one. But no, well done. In the normal run of things, I think I would have been all right. But I suddenly realised that I was running out of moves. And 36 moves, it seems like a huge number of moves. Yeah. Well, Scholar's Mate, yes. Back rank mate more likely. I mean, in this position, maybe not. Rook takes. In this position, maybe I had something more energetic. Because that knight on g8 is hanging. And I was looking at rook takes c7, that kind of thing. Just something to energize the position. But I should probably have just played bishop e5 in this position. Bishop e5. That would have been a move. Because at least I'm coming in on c7. So let's see. My opponent has challenged me again. Let's go for the next one. Okay, less than 36 moves. Good luck. Right. What does one play if you want to win fairly quickly with black? You've got to really get cracking with your sacrificial attacks. So I've got an idea what I'm going to play. If he plays the Queen's Gambit, I'm going to play the Albin. Oh my goodness. Okay. So play like Carlsen. White is going to just do what I would normally do, which is just... Can anyone else hear me? Let's have a look. Can you hear me? You should be able to. You should be able to hear me. Okay, so what's my strategy going to be in this position? My strategy in this position is I'm going to sacrifice some pawn on e5. I'm just basically going to get on with it and try and sack something. Yeah, castle queen side, attack him on the king side. It's going to happen. But I'm not totally sure how sound it's going to be. So don't rely on this to be a shining example of how to play. But it will be interesting. So develop your bits. Sacrifice the pawn on f6. Don't care about that too much. Good. I'm glad you can hear. My next tournament, by the way, is the one I'm organising next Wednesday. If you Google Muswell Hill Chess, you'll find two sites. One is the site for my rapid plays. We have a little rapid play there every month on a weekday, which is unusual. So this one's on Wednesday. Most of them are on Tuesdays. This one just happens to be on Wednesday the 15th. And the other site you'll come up with is the site for Muswell Hill Chess Club, Northwest London. Very strong club. And they meet in the same pub. So either way, you will find the probably a link to the Clissold Arms, which is a lovely pub in Muswell Hill where we meet and we play chess. And it's great fun. Now, I'm not sure about bishop b5. If I take on e5, he's got to take it with the bishop. And then what does he do? And I can go knight f6. Well, we'll see. Well, one thing I've got to do is I've got to think about castling. So I'm going to go queen d7 and castle. That seems like a sensible plan. Queen d7 and castle, queenside, and then just open up. Okay, so the tournament is on Wednesday, the 15th of August. And what's unusual about it is during the week. It starts at 10:30 a.m. and it finishes before 6 p.m. You can play 6 rated games, rapid play games, 25 minutes each plus 5 seconds a move. And that's quite unusual. I mean, you can't normally play chess during the day in London these days, unless you're playing blitz on a casual basis. But there are very few places left where you can just do that. Most cafes just don't advertise it. Okay, knight c3 attacking d5, a very sensible move. Does really oblige me to castle, so castle I will. Could have played rook d8, but I'm going to castle because it's more aggressive. I just want to get all my pieces developed. And, well, depending on what he does, he's got to put his king somewhere. I might play g5 and attack his king on the king side. Or if he takes on f6 and I take it, I'm going to develop bishop, and that's interesting. Okay, so he's forcing me to make a decision. And my decision will be to take on f3, probably. If I don't take on f3, if I move that bishop back, he could play g4. And then he's got this maneuver with his knight d4, which is quite nasty. Try not to have too many arrows on the board, because this is pinned. So I probably want to take on f3 and then complete my development somehow with bishop b4. Or I could take on e5. I have to take back with the bishop. Let's see. Do something like that, I think. Yeah, I like the idea of that. Something like bishop takes f3 and then bishop b4, maybe smashes queen side up. Tricky. can't even move my bishop back here because knight d4 is definitely the move. So let's take it. One has to. And then bishop b4 maybe. Got to watch out for that pawn as well. He can bring his rook to d1, and then he's got his queen and his rook and his knight all on d5. So I've got to watch out for that pawn. But I might have some tricks. Tricks. But again, I've got to win in 36 moves, Jack. You know, I could win that game, but it wasn't going to be in 36 moves, so I don't think this format is going to suit my rather tedious style of play. So we'll have to see. You know, I lost the first game. I'm going to try and win this one, but what does that give me? That gives me 26 more moves. It should be easy, but this is a new format. I like the format, but I'm not sure I can. I'm not sure I could beat most people in, you know, let's say 30 moves. It's not my style, such as it is, but we'll see. But you managed to win all your games. So what was the handicap you were playing under? How long were your games? That's it. Were they wins on time, or did you? Oh, that's interesting. So I was kind of thinking he might play Queen G4, trying to swap queens off. Yeah, forces you forces you to be direct. That's right. 36 moves sounds great, but you've got to be, as you say, direct. So, yeah. What's direct in this position? Direct in this position is, frankly, just develop your pieces. Develop your pieces. And then play g5, or just basically attack him. If he takes on f6, good. Hopefully, I can use the g file. If he doesn't take on f6, then I'm probably going to play knight g6 or g5 and just have a go. Very good. Hi, Talvin. You've joined us at a critical moment in my chess playing career. I've got to win this game in less than 36 moves. And then I've got to win another game to win this 3-game match. So, that is looking, looking optimistic right now. Oh, I'll just see what white does. He's got a reasonable position. I'm trying to give him material. I'm trying to tempt him. But he won the first game, just played very solidly, very well. And I think I spent too much time talking and not enough time counting. Because I think counting is critical in these games. 36 moves. That's 26 more moves. Well, 25 more moves effectively, because I've got to mate him. And how do you do that? Well, let's see. Not worried about my pawn on d5. I don't think he's going anywhere with that. Now I want to put my rook on f8 and zoom. Hopefully attack him. Yeah, I can open the F file now. So that is good. Do I take on e5 first? Bishop takes rook f8, something like that. Or do I play rook f8 first? I think rook f8 first is a bit more subtle. Let's try that. And then he has to take on f6, I think. And he might try and swap queens off. Okay, well now I'm winning this, but I'm not totally sure I can win this if you get my drift. I really need my dark squared bishop to mate him, but I can take on c3, and I can take on e5, and I'm winning a piece. That's a free piece. Yeah, you see my point. But I really like that piece. But still, let's do it, because, you know, he who says A must say B. And I did put it on b4 to take on c3. Maybe he'll spot the fact that I'm going to take on e5, and he might stick in e6, a kind of Zwischenzug. And then I will take it, breaking my pin, and then I'll probably play g5 and just try and chuck my pawns at his king. Let's see what he plays. Yeah, Wiltz he's not a bad player. I don't think the ratings are very reliable for either of us, but you gave me a rating of 2200 despite the fact that I've never been 2200 in my life, but I don't mind. This is an interesting format. I don't think this is almost like the handicapping system makes it more like giving pawn odds or knight odds or capping a pawn. Do you know that interesting handicap where you basically take a bet that you will mate your opponent with a particular pawn or a particular piece. Now I know it's not FIDE equivalent, but I've never been 2200 in any department, but I'm good. You need to get Talvin Jacobs into your chesspatzer community. So he's done what I thought he'd do. E6. So I really have to take it. And then he'll take back on c3. And we've wasted another move, which is always good for him. And I need to find a way of getting to his king. In fact, it might work in my favour. Sure, that's fine. I've won all my matches. But this handicapping system it places it in a different sphere. So it's quite hard. It forces you to think. That's the problem. I do hate being forced to actually think. I quite like the idea of just being able to roll pieces forward and, at my own pace. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'd like to play. I almost regret playing Rook F8, that rook, because I really need to play H5, and he's just going to take it with the queen. So I can play G5, and then I can play F5, and maybe G4. That looks like a pretty good start to a kingside attack. Yeah, to be honest, people always ask, if you watch interviews with chess players, ordinary journalists who don't play chess always say, "Oh, how many moves do you think ahead?" And to be honest, if you're quite a reasonable player, you don't actually think that many moves ahead. Quite often you're thinking of strategic ideas. Like in this position, if it was a normal game, I'd be thinking, great, I'll just stick a knight on e4 and, I would. I'd be sticking a knight on e4 and try and win the pawn on c3, but really just it's not gonna cut the mustard. I've got to play g4. I've got to bash him over the head with these pawns. So f5 and g4 is my thinking. Now I've got 20 moves left. Maybe I can open his king side up in time to do some damage. We'll see. The one thing I have to avoid something like f4, where he plays queen g4 and tries to swap my queens off. Yeah, kitchen sink. I've never liked kitchen sink dramas, but I'm gonna try my best. My brain is working on it. My my inclination is usually to play the positional move, except if it's blitz. If this were just blitz, like 3 minutes and 2 seconds, I think I would win. But given my opponent enough time to gamify the system, I believe he won't find it too difficult to make this game last. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so he's really gone for it there. Queen g3, threatening queen takes c7 mate is a good idea in a normal game. But it allows me, I've got f4, and then that blocks it. Obviously, if he plays queen takes g5, do I have any nasty mating kind of threat type moves? Well, I've certainly got more tactical possibilities. If I play f4, he's going to take on g5, and then I can't play rook g8 because he takes on f4 and then he's threatening mate again. I haven't got time to play anything creative. I could play rook d7. That seems a bit grovelly, but the idea would be if he takes on g5, I go rook g8 and try and double my rooks, but it's a bit slow. So I think f4 might be the move. f4, and if he takes it, I can take it and open the f-file. If he tries to swap the queens off, I can play knight f5. No, can't do that. Rook f5 maybe. That's looking a bit dodgy after bishop d3. Difficult decision. But I'm certainly not going to get mated. Don't want that to happen. So maybe it's got to be done. f4. Stop calculating. Yeah, use your instinct. That's a very good suggestion. My instinct is f4. Play f4. I've got 4 minutes 40, and he's got 5.5 minutes. Yeah, that's an interesting comment, Fate. I feel I know enough slightly worse lines to beat GMs in this handicap. You're right. I think quite a lot of players could probably, let's say, choose somebody like Simon Williams. You could probably struggle on for 36 moves if you had to. Okay, Queen G4, just as I was worried about. I don't really have enough moves left in the game to try and mate him without my queen. So I'm going to have to play knight f5. Just see what happens. Knight f5. And I'm going to try and kick his queen away, but ideally I want him to take on g5. Whereupon I then start to worry about queen takes f4 and queen c7 mate again. But there you go. Hi, Jason Pierre Sweeney. Yeah, I am live occasionally. I just haven't been live for a while. And I'm not totally sure after this that I should be live too often. It's obviously not good for my health. Yes, chesspatzerWILTS is a really good site. There's loads of interesting stuff on there. And when I say loads, I mean absolutely shed loads of stuff on there. So, okay. Take on f4, queen takes f4, knight d6, trying to avoid being mated. Bishop. Okay. So now we've opened the file. Let's do it. We've opened the file. Let's see what we can do in this position. Queen takes f4, maybe knight d6, something like that. Sorry about my Nightbot. Nightbot is policing this channel, so I don't know quite what it does, but probably stops you using 36 emotes. It's all right. So bishop takes f4, and I think bishop takes f4 is a mistake. So I'm hoping that I can take advantage of it. I'm definitely going to put my rook on g8. This does not seem like a bad idea. I thought queen takes f4 would have been actually pretty much end of game, because I've got to spend some time defending c7 and I don't really have a good move. Well, I have lots of good moves, but I don't have a good move that is quick, timely, that just gets on with the job. So now I'm gonna use my knight, which I haven't been able to do so far, and try and get him on g2 or h3. One of these squares is dropping. Yeah, chesspatzerWILTS España, and you're both. Is it fair to say that you are both quite tactical players? And I'm not saying I'm not, but I think I'm a bit out of practice in that regard. Playing blitz chess in your tournaments has definitely helped, and it's made me a lot sharper. But it hasn't changed my style over the board, probably. So looking at this position, I'm definitely winning now. I'm much happier now. I think he went wrong. He went wrong. So I'm definitely going to play rook takes g2 check. But what do I do after that? How can I mate him? I haven't got. Oh, I've got an idea. Okay, let's do it. He's covering h3 with his queen. So I'm going to find it quite hard to play queen takes h3 mate. And I'm hoping because of that he will go king h1 thinking he's safe. No, he hasn't. Okay, so I've got to I have got to play something fairly sharp. And I think queen g8 is the move, with the idea of rook g1 at some point. Well, stop calculating. I think it's got to be, yeah, if I had something else, it's not jumped out at me. If I've got something else, it's not jumping out. But I must have something. I've got a good position. Just not totally sure how that is going to help me in this scenario. So he's going to go queen f4 again. If I don't have mate here, I'm going to be in trouble. And he wants to play wants to play bishop h4, and I could go queen. No, I could go rook e8, and then he's got to go queen f4. Well, let's see whether or not that provokes me into doing something suicidal. Queen takes c7 would be threatened, and I'd probably have to take on g3 to stop him playing queen takes. Yeah. So definitely in trouble, but it's not the end of the world. Yeah, maybe I should have just taken. I'm going to run out of time. Got 57 seconds left. Don't think I'm going to survive this. I think I'm probably going to just lose on time after queen g3, which we'll see. Probably going to lose on time. But I've got 49 seconds left and I've got 10 moves. And he is running out of pieces. So let's see what happens. I've got to mate him. Queen f3 check, king d2, he's running away. Queen f3 check, king d2, he is running away, the swine. I'm going to try and mate him on c2. Let's see whether he allows me. And if I'm lucky, I might clobber him. Now what's he going to do about c2? He didn't fall for it. Okay. I've got 20 seconds left. It does not look like my evil plan has worked. But there you go. I'm not going to mate him, so that's it. So what happens after I lose 2 matches? We play the third match. Tell me. Because I really don't like this handicap. It's not my thing. Play the third. Okay, so play the third. And I'll try and win one for honour's sake. But I can't say I'm enthusiastic about this handicapping. It's too much like just playing. It's not even like playing blitz. It's like somebody's flagging you. Yeah. Oh well. Play again. Yeah. Play a game. Play a game. Challenge me again, and let's see what we can do. But I don't think I had anything more specific there. And if I've missed something, let me know. But I think I just ran out of time and moves. And I couldn't see anything in that position where I have my pieces are gunning for his king. In that position, yeah, okay, I can take. But where does that get you? It doesn't get you anywhere. So let's play another one and see what happens. Let's see if I can Let's see if I can win this one. Yeah. I'm not sure that it would make a lot of difference. If you're a fairly reasonable player, I think this is quite a difficult handicapping system. I'm going to have to look at your games, obviously. Knight takes g2 looked winning instead of rook takes g2. Knight takes g2. I'll have a look at that. But knight takes g2. Yeah, that might have been better actually. I put my pieces on quite vulnerable squares with rook takes g2. So unless I had something after that that was tactical. Oh, thank you for following. It's very kind of you. Very good. Yeah, actually, I need to look at several other people's streams to get some tips. I should have done that as preparation while I was organising Hamster today. But the Wi-Fi at the venue was dreadful, and I wasn't particularly sure I was getting anywhere. So what? This knight bishop g4 is just wrong. I know this. Are you just being kind? Are you just being kind? Because I can go knight e5. Knight e5. And then you have to, if I go knight e5, you have to drop back. Can't take my queen because bishop takes f7 is a mate. Bishop takes d1, bishop takes f7 is mate. So we'll see if you're just being kind. Yeah, thanks. You should have seen my other positions. They were great, but they were great at around. They were great at around move 30, which is probably pointless. By the time you get to move 30, you are stuffed. Yeah, bishop takes f7 first is fine, and then you win the piece back on g4. But you know, I don't think bishop takes f7 was winning a piece. It was winning the piece back. Knight e5 he might fall for mate. He might play queen h5. He might bishop h5, and then I can just take it with the queen. He might go bishop e6. I think he has to go bishop e6 actually. In which case it's crap. But yeah, it's very tough. Very tough. It's like learning a chess variant. It's not really like real chess at all. It's like a chess variant. But you know, that's what we're here for. And it might actually make my game a little bit more exciting. It's a bit like if Lewis, if you know the 19th century handicapping system where you capped a piece and then you were obliged to mate with that piece. This is what it feels like. It's quite funny, but I'm not gonna give up or give in. I'm just gonna crack on and develop my pieces and see what happens. So why are some people allowed to have 5-letter names, like Wilts, and some people get 3. Should it be consistent? How long can a name be? Why not just chesspatzerWILTS? Why stop at Wilts? I mean, it's inconsistent, and I'm really OCD about these things. I like my position, by the way. I'm going to go bishop g5 and knight d6. If I go bishop g5, pinning that e pawn, I can then go knight d6 check, and that would be nasty. So I like that. Well, the good thing about being bashed up like this is that I'm getting a lot more. I didn't think you had a system. I'm getting a lot more followers as a result of this, which is quite good. People are following me in order to watch me being beaten up. And no, I'm not a great fan of handicapping. But in other sports, I play real tennis, and in real tennis, you have a handicapping system much like this, and it works really well. And no one complains, so I won't. But you have to have something. You have to have something. Am I 50 followers now? Is that really true? I've got 48, maybe 49. We will see. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the affiliate gets me, but I'm sincerely grateful for the followers. I'm learning. I know. Jack told me that once you get to 50, miraculous things happen. Not necessarily, financially, but just something happens. So we will see. Okay, my opponent's castle queenside, which is very kind. I think I might have to play a3 and kind of go for his king, which is pretty much what I should have been doing anyway. I want to sack the knight on d6. We'll see. Thanks very much, Jack. You have cheers and subscribers. Oh, I see. Nice. So people can subscribe rather than just follow. Excellent. I will play in a variant tournament. I do love Bughouse. I will play any Bughouse tournament you want to organise. It's just great fun. Might. Well. Develop with a tempo. And then see what happens. Yeah. In this position, white is obviously better. And he's just allowed me to play knight c5, and I'm going to take on e6, so I should be winning. But as to whether or not I can win under 36 moves, well, you've seen my track record is not good in that department. Red Bunny Bun, what tournaments do you have coming up? Well, on my calendar, from what I can remember, next Wednesday, I've got a tournament in Muswell Hill at the lovely Clissold Arms, which is just really good. I mean, it's really nice just to play chess in that environment to organise it is even better, because I get to watch other people struggling. They've got fantastic Wi-Fi, so I will be streaming top board. I'm gonna take my phone and I'm gonna take a charger for the battery, and I'm going to make sure I've got enough credit just in case, and I am going to stream the top board. And we do have a Russian Grandmaster playing, Alexander Chernayev, and if you haven't met Alexander Chernayev, you're in for a treat. And I'm going to stream the top board, so that's one event going on. Okay, so I suppose that is a good move. Put him under some pressure. And now, I did not want to have to move that, but this doesn't look too bad. 96. I was going to go rook d4 and then knight e6. But queen d7 is quite strong. Or queen e6 check. Maybe just take on e6 and get on with it. And now if queen d7, I can take on d4 with the rook. Okay, that works. So after that, the weekend after, I'm not doing anything the weekend after. That is the 18th and 19th of August. But then, 18th and 19th of August, and then there is something called the Mind Sports Olympiad, and none of it's graded or rated. You can just go and play. I'm almost excited. I might even have, chances to make my opponent, which would be a miracle. You can play rapid chess, blitz chess. You can play exchange chess. There's a kind of world championship exchange chess for good prize money. Just look up MSO World or look at chessengland.com, and on the right hand side there's a calendar and there's a link to the Mind Sports Olympiad events. Blitz, Rapid, Exchange Chess, and what else is there? Oh yeah, Chess 960, Fisher Random, which is really good, really, really good. I've actually been to a tournament in the Netherlands. I went to Amsterdam and I happened to be walking along a canal and I saw people playing chess through a window. So I went into this pub and I discovered that there were like 5 grandmasters and 50 other players playing chess there. And then they started the next round and I suddenly discovered that they were playing Fisher Random. And what happens in Fisher Random is it starts off looking eccentric, but very quickly the position normalizes and you get a decent position that when you walk past it, if you didn't know it was Fisher Random, you wouldn't know from the position, because generally with strong players the pieces go to the best squares and then it tends to look fairly normal. So I was really impressed with that. The Dutch really love their Fisher Random. So anyway, you can do that, Mind Sports. And then there's a Blitz tournament on the first Thursday of the month. I'm trying to mate him here with e6 check. First Thursday of the month there is a Blitz tournament at Hendon Chess Club. If you look at hendonchessclub.com, and then on the first weekend in August, I'm trying to remember what we're doing. I know that Golders Green is first weekend in September. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm playing. I'm organising a tournament in Sheffield, Darnell and Handsworth Rapid Play, which is taking place on the 1st of September, which is a significant day for me. So that's what I'm doing, going up to Sheffield, organising a chess tournament for Darnell and Handsworth Chess Club. Really nice club, incredibly enthusiastic people. I play for their team in the local league, Sheffield League, and I really enjoy myself. So I'm looking forward to that. And then when I come back the next weekend, what's happening? Now, I've got to try and make my opponent, and I have a feeling he's going to play something takes f2, but we'll see. Queen d2 looks good, but I've got e6 check. That can't be bad. But still, only 10 moves to make my opponent. It's still really hard. If you play some sensible defensive moves, we'll see. So after that, that's the 1st of September. That's taken us up to September. What have we got then? I think I've got a tournament on... Oh, I forgot the 25th of August. I do have a tournament I'm doing for Brainstorm Chess, which is a junior tournament during the day and then a FIDE rated blitz in the evening of the 25th. And there's free pizza. So the 25th of August is a special day. That's the bank holiday weekend, but that's what I'm doing on the 25th. 26th I'm doing the Mind Sports. 1st of September I'm doing Sheffield. I ought to say that I do a lot of events. You may have noticed that I've forgotten pretty much what I'm doing. So my opponent has just basically sacrificed something. It's a good move. If I take on f2, he can take with the rook. Yeah, and then at the end of it he takes my rook. Queen d2 check and takes my rook. So I believe he has exchanged off my most crucial attacking piece, which is really annoying. But you know, what can you do? What can you do? And I'm not sure I can do much about it. So if this were a normal game, it would still be a good move. And I could survive. But it's not a normal game. It's 36 moves. I've got 10 more moves and I don't have e6 check. Darn it. Yeah, bishop takes f2. There's not much I can say about that. So just a good, solid move. And I wish I had something reasonable to play against that. But I'm not sure I do. He's just going to take the rook back on c1. In a normal game, that would be all right. You know, I could probably draw that. You know, might even play e6 and try and win it. But in this position, I'm just going to run out of moves. Don't think I have any other clever tic-tacs. So I don't have any checkmates. I think I'm just going to have to run away up the board. And yeah, fate. It's a brilliant format, but quite a difficult one to crack. Well, at least I haven't cracked it. That's the key. The key is I have not cracked it. I have failed 3-0 to crack this, and there's no way I'm going to get to 36 moves and win. So I have definitely failed to crack this format. Yes. And the other thing I think I forgot as well is that I'm still playing a game of chess and it's still rated. So I should still theoretically try and play sensible moves and just win the games, which I feel like I probably could have done. But I've lost them because I've been trying to get to mate in 36 moves. So that's the other thing. And the other thing is I think I've just had my mind on the format rather than trying to. Yeah, exactly like that. That was a draw. Good game. And even though I drew that, that's still a loss. But I'll take the draw. I'll take the draw. Chesspatzer Wiltshire. I will take the draw and have a think about the format because I think that's a really good format. But if I were playing somebody, well, actually no. If I was playing somebody even stronger, I don't think I'd survive even that long because it's not my natural inclination to play risky chess, and I think you do have to take some risks if you're trying to win in this 15 minutes each format. I think I'd be quite happy to play that against most players up to 2200, but having to win in 36 moves, that is not easy. So we'll see how it goes in the next match. I've got a couple of matches next week, and I might struggle to win those. You never know. I'm going to have to revisit my opening to see if I can find something a bit more direct and just try and make my opponent. But well played. That was really good. I have learned something and I have acquired a number of subscribers, and I have been impressed by your uh, energetic and efficient defense in these positions. So, yeah, even in that position, I was trying to think what the objective result of that game was, but should probably have played. Let's have a look. I'm just thinking about that bishop because my opponent dealt with that bishop really well. That was the key to any possibility that I might actually win this game. So after e6, he's going to play bishop c5. He's going to go rook f8 and take on f2. Good move. Did I have a chance to stop that? I could have played. Okay. So possibly I could have tried c5 myself, but then queen d5. So queen c6, yeah, that looks fairly sensible. Taking on e6 because I really need to clear the line for my bishop on f4. And then bishop c5. Now what is a raid? This is terminology I've heard, but I don't have a clue about what it is. So bishop c5. Post-game banter. You're gonna have to give me idiot-proof instructions. If a raid is offensive, moderate in chat settings. Okay, fair enough. chesspatzerWILTS is now here. Tell me more. I think queen e6 was alright. Bishop c5. And what happened after that? Queen back to c6 was possibly a bit pathetic. Well, it looked logical. But given my opponent's excellent follow-up, rook f8, I think you did play really well. Objectively speaking, I might have had chances, but I definitely didn't make much of them. He played really well. I mean, to be honest, if it was a normal game, I think it would still have been really, really good match. But the handicap is interesting. Yeah, don't look too hard at my my rating. I did record my side. This is all being recorded, and I'll keep it. You know, you'll be able to watch it. But this is like, it almost needs its own opening theory. You know, like if you play suicide chess, or if you play any other chess variant, you normally develop strange opening theory, and that's almost what you need in this sort of position. You need to be able to almost second guess what your opponent's going to play to block your desperate attempt to push for checkmate in under 36 moves in this case. But I'm not sure I could have done much better than I did. Queen g4, yeah, but queen c6 looks fantastic. Okay, queen g4. You're right. I mean, I missed that really good move, bishop takes f2 check, which exchanges off my nicest piece. And if I had seen that, maybe queen g4 is better. But I was trying to play e6 check without allowing bishop d6, and that didn't work. Queen c6, rook f8. I don't have any sacks. Yeah. Okay, so your idea here of b4 is very good. b4 is very good. And then maybe black can play bishop takes f2 check and rook f8. Maybe. That's harder for him. Maybe he can play bishop d4 and just play rook f8 anyway. But we'll see. So I'm going to play a match on... just going to check my emails. I believe I can play a match on Tuesday night and Wednesday night. Yeah, it probably does lose. I'm just going to look and see who I've got to play. Thank you. Now, request affiliate. Okay, I will look into that, and I'll see how I go. Yeah, the thing is, knight off Frozen Lake. This is a handicap game, and having a winning endgame is something I could have had several different ways. But the problem is, I've got to win this game, handicap game, in under 36 moves, and I agree, I'm winning. I'm just not sure in this position that I am going to win it in under 36 moves, but it's really absolutely spot on. I'm going to win it. Yeah, the handicap thingy is a real pain in the proverbial, but it's just, you know, it's what I signed up for. So thank you, Jason. So I've got 50 followers, 3 average followers, yeah. Then I just need 5 different days, 8 hours of streaming in 30 days. Well, that's going to be no problem because I'm going to be streaming my next 2 matches, and I believe Tuesday, Wednesday, and possibly even Thursday I'm going to be streaming. I can't do it tomorrow, Monday, but I can do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And at some point, I'm going to be doing that as part of either a match in this format, God help me, or I'm going to be doing just a stream, just to talk about various things. One of them, I'm going to have to do the prize giving ceremony for Hampstead, which was this weekend, and probably won't have time to do that tonight. And one of them is going to be a match. Who is that going to be? It's probably going to be against Andrew Dovey, who I believe is chesspatzerWILTS. Okay, so I'm going to ask Andrew if he wants to play a match on Tuesday, and I believe that's when it'll be. I'll put it on my calendar. So if you look at, thank you, that's really useful information. So I'm gonna ask Andy if he wants to play on Tuesday, and put it on my calendar, and then I'm gonna do my best to right the wrongs of tonight's match and actually try and win a game. Spectacularly failed to win any of my games, trying to get under 36 move victories. But we'll see. On Tuesday, I'm going to ask Andy, and I think he'll say yes for Tuesday. And we'll see how we go. But thank you ever so much for your patience tonight. If it was entertaining, let me know. I found it quite painful, but you get what you pay for, as they say. And I'm looking forward to having. What was the other thing that you were going to say? Cheers. Yeah, cheers. Cheers would be cool. So thanks very much for watching. I recommend that you do check out, if you want to know what I do and you just think, who is this Muppet? Check out chessengland.com and you'll see what I do. I organise chess tournaments and occasionally I play chess. And I got a reasonable chance of winning one of my next matches, but we'll see. Back to the drawing board. Let's see how that pans out. Famous last words. And yeah, I'll see you on Tuesday. All of you. Got 15 viewers at the moment, which is, well, for me, a record. So thank you very much. I will be saving this on YouTube as well. Thank you. chesspatzerWILTS. You kicked my butt, and in a way it was a pleasure, because I'm a bit of a masochist. But yeah, I'm stunned. This is great, a great format, and I have to make a confession, which is I am partially responsible for the format. So I've really been, what's the expression, hoist by my own petard. And we were talking about other kinds of handicaps, but we went for this one. This one looked like it was going to be interesting, and it is. Well done. And I don't know what your over the board rating is, but you played really well. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all again on Tuesday. Have fun, play lots of chess, and don't do anything I wouldn't do.